Nectar's Labor Day sale is delivering our sweetest deal ever right to your door, so you can try out an award-winning Nectar mattress in your home today. That's right, sleep on it risk-free for a full year with Nectar's unbeatable 365-night trial. And with our unheard-of forever warranty, you know everything's gonna be all right. Right now, you can save big with 33% off everything and as little as $34 a month in free shipping. But a deal this sweet won't last. Visit NectarSleep.com to get yours today.
Tomorrow in ET, we're inside Gene Simmons' birthday bowling party.
Just for ET.
The good cause bringing Kiss back together.
I swear, usually there's strikes.
Ooh, be sure to check that one out.
Happening now.
CPS Energy updating their energy conservation level after a press release from ERCOT. We'll tell you what it's all about coming up next.
According to ERCOT, we're stressing our grid today. I'll have the latest outlook from them in a few minutes, along with the latest on Hurricane Idalia and where it's going.
An aspiring singer accused in the murder of a local known rapper. The smoking gun evidence that was shown in court today. The news at 5 starts right now. First at 5, summer may be winding down, but we're stuck on repeat. ERCOT once again asking us to reduce our use of energy today until 9 o'clock tonight.
But ERCOT's appeal leaving some here in San Antonio a little confused. That's because initially CPS Energy issued an energy conservation level green for today, which means normal usage is required.
Jonathan Cotto trying to sort out the confusing signals. He's in the newsroom. Jonathan.
That's right. And yeah, this all comes on a day where energy demand initially wasn't supposed to be an issue. Then the Electric Reliability Council of Texas, or ERCOT, turned the message around and sent out an appeal to conserve. Now, they even want all government agencies to cut back their usage too and put into action all city and county programs that reduce electricity this afternoon and night. Now, ERCOT is pointing to a combination of factors, including a high level of unexpected, quote, thermal outages and lower wind production. Now, usually Texas has good coastal and West Texas winds, but not today. And a call to ERCOT revealed that a number of fossil fuel plants in Texas are down once again. While the agency is making a plea to all of us to conserve energy now, earlier in the day, CPS showed this would be a green or regular use day. It wasn't until after ERCOT issued a press release this afternoon about the impending energy shortage did CPS upgrade the day up to yellow, or a conservation day with temperatures only slightly above average across the state Tuesday afternoon. We wanted to know why the grid is in such a squeeze and to know if ERCOT and CPS are on the same page. Now, we reached out to CPS Energy but have not yet received a reply. The conservation request will last until 9 o'clock tonight, and already we are expecting similar issues tomorrow. Reporting Jonathan Cotto, KSAT 12 News.
And I've got the latest graph of supply and demand from ERCOT, and we look closely here at 9 o'clock. The forecasted demand should be about the same as the available capacity. And of course, that's the issue here. This evening, we start to lose solar energy, and our wind isn't as good as it always is, but we still have winds of 10 to 15 miles per hour across most of the state. Of course, many of the turbines are along the Gulf Coast and even in West Texas. West Texas, not much of a breeze for those winds. However, keep in mind the thermal capacity ERCOT's referring to is actually coal and natural gas, those thermal issues. Temperature-wise, no issues across the state. Nothing like what we've had most of this summer. Most of us are in the 90s, even very few triple digits out there. Floresville and Del Rio, an exception to the triple digits. Bulverde 97, Laverdia 99, Mico at 97, and Seguin at 98 degrees. This evening, a clearing sky, temperatures falling down into the 80s and then low 70s by tomorrow morning. So a bit cooler than what we're used to for a change. We'll talk about Idalia, where it's going, and even our next chance of rain coming up.
Thank you, Adam. New at 5, 911 calls, surveillance video, and crime scene pictures. Just some of the mountain of evidence shown in the first day of the murder trial of an aspiring local singer. Sasha Scar on trial for the fatal shooting of San Antonio rapper Martel DeRuin. It happened 2 years ago. Eric Hernandez in court today with all the evidence that was shown to the jury.
The bullet hole was slightly off left to the door knocker.
a bullet hole near the peephole of a door. That was what San Antonio police found as they responded to a welfare check at Martel DeRowan's apartment in January 2021. Once inside, he was found dead from a single gunshot wound.
I remember the victim fell backwards, while he was looking through the peephole.
Detective Daniel Molina was one of the responding officers to check on Martel. It would be 2 weeks after he was found that Sasha Scar was arrested and charged with his murder. Some of the evidence presented included a 911 call made by Scar claiming to be Martel's wife.
I think my husband is injured. Do you hear him? No, he's not responding, and I called him, and he's just not responding. And there's a hole in his door.
Joa DeRowan, Martel's wife he was separated with at the time, the first to take the stand, says she was able to recognize the voice on the call as Scar's.
What information the defendant got incorrect, or what misinformation the defendant provided to 911?
Well, number one, she pronounced my name wrong. My last name is not Duran, it's DeRowan.
And then this key piece of evidence, video from a neighbor's Ring camera of what appears to be Scar barefoot with a gun in hand and walking down the hallway looking at her phone.
Now, as far as the defense, we don't know what their case is. They didn't do opening arguments this morning, but the state will continue with their testimony tomorrow morning. Now, if found guilty, Scar is facing up to life in prison. Live downtown, Erica Hernandez, KSAT 12 News.
Thank you, Erica. San Antonio police say a woman went too far trying to drive home a message to a would-be burglar to stay away from her house. They say she hit him with her car. Happened this morning around 6:30 at a home on Dietrich Road off of Springfield. That's near North W.W. White Road. Now, according to police, the woman called officers while at work, saying she was looking at a video from the surveillance camera in her home and saw a man inside. Investigators say she went to her house, tried to stop that man who tried to run away. Police say she told them she accidentally hit him. When officers arrived at the scene, the man was laying in the road with an injured leg at the intersection of Colonza and Lula May. He was taken to the hospital. The woman taken to jail, charged with aggravated assault with a deadly weapon. Now, police say the man will be booked on 2 felony warrants that had already been issued for him. Texas physicians have a message for parents sending their kids to daycare or school. Make sure your children are up to date on their pneumococcal vaccine. The vaccine prevents infectious diseases that spread easily through a cough or sneeze in crowded settings. The bacteria, when spread, can cause minor issues like ear infections, but can also lead to serious issues, especially for kids under the age of 2.
Under the age of 2 because they're not fully vaccinated. And so they can develop severe pneumonias, meningitis, bone and joint infections, as well as blood infections with pneumococcus.
The vaccine readily available is done in 4 separate doses, so starting your child as early as 2 months old is actually recommended.
Idalia, now a Category 1 hurricane, but it could be gaining strength in the Gulf up to a Category 2, 3, or 4, where it could make landfall.
As ABC's Rena Roy reports, millions of people in Florida preparing with the storm expected to hit tomorrow morning.
Today, dozens of counties in Florida on high alert as Hurricane Idalia continues to churn and gain strength, expected to make landfall Wednesday as a dangerous Category 3 storm. The storm's outer bands already impacting the Florida Keys, flooding the streets in Key West. A state of emergency declared in at least 49 Florida counties, with many under mandatory evacuation orders. Some 300,000 residents already leaving their homes.
If we get 8, 10, 12-foot surge, you're talking water's going to just flood all of these buildings.
Governor Ron DeSantis warning Floridians they could see storm surges up to 12 feet, so they need to get to safety now.
Got time. You've got the ability to do. I know all these counties have opened up shelters, but time is running out very, very rapidly.
ABC's Ginger Z says we're seeing more intense hurricanes in part due to warmer waters caused by human-impacted climate change.
And as far as the water temperatures go, you know we've been talking about 2 to 4 degrees above average. That is a huge deal. It super fuels storms.
Idalia leaving its mark on Cuba, with powerful waves and strong winds crippling the coastline. In Clearwater, fire and rescue crews are clearing the beaches of any debris that could become a projectile. Elsewhere, people emptying storage shelves and lining up for gas, many stocking up on sandbags.
I tell them to leave. That's what the county said, that's what the state said, and that's what my director said. Because we want you to be alive.
Now, the Coast Guard, they're preparing as well. They have 60 Jayhawk helicopters ready to be deployed that can be used for search and rescue missions. Now, as for those ignoring those mandatory evacuation orders, the state has over 20 shelters available, of course, for those who will be able to make it there. Ike Ajachi, ABC News, Tampa, Florida.
CPS Energy lending a hand. It's extending a proactive hand, in fact. They're already on the way to Florida ahead of Idalia's landfall. Overhead linemen, pole crews, safety teams, just a few of the crews headed over to Jacksonville right now to be on standby for if and when power goes out there.
Robert Earl Keen returns. He has a new album, is playing at Floor's Country Store on Labor Day, and he's the subject of tonight's Spreester Sessions. A bucket list interview for me with a Texas music legend, even if he's not comfortable with that title. When you are called things like a Texas legend or things like that, are you comfortable with that title? Are you comfortable with the compliments that you've been given, with the lauds that you've been given, the laurels?
I appreciate the compliments. I really do. And I think that's cool. But you're hitting on something that's really sort of a hard question to answer. In that, the fact is I'm not very comfortable with it. I don't feel like I'm anybody's legend, I mean, legends are, Jimmy Rogers and Hank Williams and Willie Nelson. Those people are legends, I just went out and played for years and years and years and put out a lot of records. I think I did a lot of good outside of what I was doing. I did a lot. I was part of a lot of sort of charitable organizations and that kind of thing. But just being a legend, I don't know. I don't feel like I really stand up in that and I don't stand in those shoes very well. I don't think so.
We will live stream the Spreester Sessions interview in its entirety with Robert Earl Keen tonight at 7 on KSAT.com. You can see it there and on the KSAT YouTube page. And coming up at 6 o'clock, our Robert Earl Keen Ranch Tour and a look at the cabin where he writes most of his music. It's coming up at 6 o'clock.
We're going to take a live look outside with TransGuide I-37 at Hackberry, and you can see there are 4 vehicles off in the middle of the road with their hazard lights on. No emergency vehicles there. Looks like there might have been a fender bender, and obviously traffic moving a little slowly in that direction.
Is still ahead. They're small and easy to carry. All right, we're not talking about babies, but diapers. And just like kids, they cost a lot of money. 10 brands put to the test. Find out which one was picked as the best.
I'm Myra Arthur here in the newsroom, and here's what's coming your way on the news at 6 o'clock today. A Floresville police officer fired after just 4 months on the job. He's accused of violating department policy, but he says he was reporting others. Coming up, the major step he is taking against the department that he wants more to serve. And a Northside Homeowners Association threatening to start towing residents' vehicles if they park on the street. We look into whether your HOA actually has that power on a public road. And don't forget about that Robert Earl Keen Ranch Tour. That's all coming your way today at 6.
We can't forget about it, for sure. Oh, baby. Inflation keeps on hitting in the diaper aisle. In fact, over the last year, the price of disposable diapers climbed another 20%.
Yeah, if you're going to spend a small fortune, you want diapers that get the job done. So Marilyn Moritz has our 12 on your side diaper tests.
It's double the diaper duty. Alex Flowers' twins went through nearly 6,000 disposables before their first birthday.
It was a relief for us financially when our kids were able to potty train and we didn't have to buy diapers anymore.
Babies and toddlers use a lot of diapers and costs add up. So Consumer Reports tested 10 popular brands ranging in price from 11 cents to 51 cents a diaper. The testing mimicked what babies do a lot.
We looked at how fast the diaper absorbs saline and how well it holds it in, helping keep your baby dry.
Luxury brand Coterie came out on top, acing the absorption and dryness tests. They're also the most expensive tested at 51 cents each. Seventh Generation, another diaper that claims to be environmentally friendly, also scored near the top. They're also pricey at 35 cents each. The good news?
There are more budget-friendly alternatives that scored well, too.
Consumer Report says Amazon's Mama Bear and Walmart's Parents' Choice are good options for well under 20 cents a diaper. They also recommend well-known brands like Huggies, Pampers, Love's, and Kirkland. All of those landed in the middle of the ratings. At the bottom, Diaper and Honest Company diapers. Although they did okay in the dryness test, that wasn't the case for the absorption test, meaning a bigger risk of leaks. And that's something no parent wants, especially if it's times 2. Marilyn Moritz, KSAT 12 News.
The diaper days.
Memories for all
Memories. All right, live cam outside, 98 degrees. I kept hoping we were going to get some of those afternoon showers like we got yesterday.
Yeah, it looked like it with the clouds. They were teasing us. Some of those clouds had a bit of virga dropping down, the rain that evaporates before hitting the ground. I do want to point out our rain chances right off the bat because we actually have a few shots at rain tomorrow afternoon and early evening. We're talking a 20% chance. So obviously nothing significant, but better than nothing. And I don't think we'll see as much coverage as what we had yesterday. Here's a look at our future cast. We'll build up a bit of instability, and whatever does develop, we'll probably have a higher bottom than usual, a higher base than usual. But by 2 o'clock, we could easily see those billowing clouds starting to drop, a few isolated showers and non-severe storms here and there. With the future cast, as usual, don't pay attention to the exact placement of these storms that you see here. This is 4 p.m. tomorrow. Just the mere fact that it's on board with the development of a few widely separated showers and non-severe thunderstorms. Then by sunset, as usual, this activity dissipates and everything is gone by 9-10 o'clock. One reason we're getting this opportunity is because the upper level high is off to the west. It's over Arizona. That's where it's centered. So with the clockwise flow around it, we've got this northerly wind, both here at the ground and up above us. And this is the wind up above us, a steering flow. And within that wind, we get little bits of energy and little ripples in the flow. And it just gives us that opportunity, such as what is coming up tomorrow for a few isolated showers. If you're lucky, I think you can get a quick quarter to a half an inch if you're one of the most fortunate. This is where the real moisture is, of course. Hurricane Idalia, Category 2 hurricane, max sustained winds at 100 miles per hour with gusts up to 120. And of course, that is close to the eye, right around the eye wall is where they have the highest winds. Here's the latest flight path from the hurricane hunters flying out of the Miami area. And they just made one pass right through the eye, measuring a 90 mile per hour wind. I'm sure they'll gather more data and then that'll be fed into the computer models as well. But here's the latest track for Idalia. Category 3 is what's expected later on tonight, early tomorrow morning, as this tracks to the northeast in the Big Bend region of Florida along the western Gulf Coast there. Wouldn't surprise me if this becomes a Category 4 shortly before landfall. Then it dissipates inland, arcs over the Atlantic, likely as a tropical storm with no further intensification. As for the storm surge, this is the biggest threat, of course. We're talking about the water above ground level, potentially 9 to 12 feet here. This is west of Gainesville, 9 to 12 feet right along the coast. That wall of water could get 12 feet above the ground. 100 our high temperature today. It was close. We thought we'd be just shy of triple digits, but we did it. We hit 100. Rio Medina now 96, Bulverde 95, Cotulla 100, Del Rio at 102 degrees. Across the state, as I mentioned earlier, it's not overly hot, actually 70s and 80s up in the Panhandle. This is what's stressing our grid today, and tomorrow's going to be similar. ERCOT's forecasting, the most recent outlook is for the demand to exceed the supply in the evening tomorrow. 72 in the morning, 100 for the high temperature. There's that 20% chance of a shower. Notice temperature's not outrageous, just right around that century mark for pretty much everybody. Then sunny and dry right near 100 all the way through the weekend.
All right, Adam, thank you so much.
All right, it is one of those days where you literally find out whether or not you made the cut, Mary.
It's an emotional time, too. I mean, you work your entire life for the opportunity to make the cut. And yes, it is NFL Cutdown Day. Today, the initial 53-man rosters will be set. More on that. Plus, TCU is coming off of a wild 2022 season. Hear from the team as they try to overcome a national championship loss.
Football coverage brought to you by Davis Law Firm.
It's a tough day, sensitive, right? It's a delicate situation for a lot of guys. But you want to tell guys just to keep working, right? Continue their dreams. Hopefully they have opportunity to make another 53-man roster or make a practice squad.
By today's 3 p.m. deadline, NFL teams had to finalize their 53-man rosters. This is the first season with a single cut-down day rather than the previous 3 separate deadlines. With that being said, now 2 hours removed from the deadline, let's take a look at some of the Cowboys and Texans decisions, starting with the Texans. The Texans cut former Pro Bowl cornerback Desmond King. Houston also making a move amid cuts to help the O-line with the acquisition of former 2021 third-round pick Kendrick Green in exchange for a 2025 sixth-round pick from the Steelers. And amid cutdowns, the Dallas Cowboys swapped cornerbacks with Miami. Dallas is sending Kelvin Joseph to the Dolphins for 2020 first-round pick Noah Igboanagani. The Cowboys also cut 2 former draft picks in defensive tackle Quinton Bohanna and linebacker Jabril Cox. It's game week across the board in the NFL world. The number 17 TCU Horned Frogs are coming off of a season with high highs and low lows. The Horned Frogs' undefeated 2020 regular season positioned them to play on college football's biggest stages. Of course, we all know how that played out. After a Big 12 title heartbreaker, the Horned Frogs were no match for the eventual national champions in the Georgia Bulldogs.
I think this year, to me, it's just about earning respect. I think that that's what we need to do as a program. We have an opportunity to do that. I think the narrative in college football is kind of, TCU got lucky and TCU was lucky to win this game or lucky to win that game. And I think we certainly feel that as coaches, and I know our players kind of feel that way, that I think that we have a lot to prove, and I think we want to prove to people that, last year wasn't a fluke.
TCU opens the 2023 season at home against Deion Sanders and the Colorado Buffaloes with a matinee 11 a.m. kickoff this Saturday. It's safe to say TCU has a lot to prove.
Yeah, they're taking on primetime in a matinee.
Oh, yeah. I like that.
Thanks, Mary.
We'll be right back. Thanks so much for watching the News at 5 with us.
World News up next. We'll see you back here at 6.